welcome back to another episode of Corazon Chronicles. I'm your host, Ray, joined with...
I'm Jannese.
Let's go. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day out there, and hope you guys enjoyed the last podcast episode as well, too. That was pretty fun, wasn't it, babe?
Yeah, it was our first guest episode, so that's always good.
Yeah, I love that. It was awesome to watch that as well, too. So, anyways, today we're going to go over a few topics that we've got, a couple of juicy topics, I guess, somewhat or whatever. But
so
the first
running
thing,
the show today,
I guess, yeah,
okay,
a little bit,
cool.
yeah. The first thing I wanted to address, though, is this new album from Benito, from Bad Bunny. Okay, this
Yes.
has been played pretty much nonstop in this house via Jannese. I'm a huge fan too, but she's like, it's
super fan.
Right.
I've been there since like 2016. Trap Bunny. And so it's really cool to like hear him get back to what I remember it being like his original sound when he was just like a SoundCloud artist.
Yeah.
And he played us all. And I'll tell you why I say that.
Okay.
Because the first track that he released, well, besides Where She Goes, which was like the Coachella themed, bop, he came up with a song called Un Preview, which is the last song on the album. And it was very basic. It was very like, ew, like this is the best thing that you're dropping from this album.
I think I remember you talking about this.
Yeah. And I did a lot of, internet sleuth research, and the collective reaction was, oh God, Benito's lost his sazon. He's hanging out with the Kardashians. He ain't got no flavor no more. Like he's just low effort. It just felt very basic. And so I think a lot of folks were kind of like, what is this album going to be?
Right.
So then when it actually dropped on Friday, we were all very pleasantly surprised. And what was the funniest thing to me was I feel like the OG fans and the new fans are divided. Whereas like the OG fans are like, yes, this is what we've been waiting for. We've been waiting for him to get back to a whole like trap album, because like 90% of the tracks are Latin trap, which is the genre that he started with.
Right.
Whereas I feel like people who jumped on the Bad Bunny bandwagon, since 2020, Yo hago lo que me da la gana, Un verano sin ti, like all the newer albums are way more pop. They're way more like globally
more mainstream.
Yeah, they're way more mainstream. And so you can hear folks who like just hopped on the bandwagon like, oh, I don't know what to do with this. This is not what I thought it was going to be. And I'm just like, well, clearly you haven't been here long enough.
Yeah, I mean, every song that I've listened to so far, I mean, I don't know if I've made it through the whole thing from front to back, but everything that I've heard so far has been I love it. It sounds great. It like you said, it definitely sounds like the old Bad Bunny. I learned about Bad Bunny in like, I think it was 2019 coming into 2020 as well. So it's, but he was still pretty trap at that point. You know, that was before he did like a lot of the duets and stuff that he started to do, the collaborations and whatnot too. So but I love it. I think it's 10 out of 10.
Yeah. And the thing that people need to realize about Bad Bunny is like, yeah, he's a global superstar, but he has said multiple times, like, I make music for Puerto Rico. Like, so if my shit goes viral, if it goes global, that's great. But I'm always going to be writing for the people that I can relate to, like where I come from.
Right.
And so if, other folks don't get it, then, I mean, he just really does not give a shit, because he's not that type of artist that's just out here to placate the masses and like create stuff that doesn't even feel authentic. He's always going to stick to like what he wants to do. And that's why his whole slogan and the tattoo that I have on my shoulder is Yo hago lo que me da la gana, which is I do what I want.
Yeah, let's go. And
it's a vibe.
I think that's a great motto for life for everybody too. You do what you want. You go where you want, and you be with who you want to be with, right? So
I love it.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so to change gears a little bit, I wanted to talk a little bit about people kind of either becoming new people when they get into a relationship, or maybe somewhat forgetting who they were. It doesn't have to be a bad thing, but I was just curious what your thoughts were on, when two people get together and let's say one person likes a certain type of music and the other person doesn't, and then you start to see, maybe your friends start to like this, like say they hate country, and then all of a sudden they get with somebody that likes country, and now they're, oh, let's listen to country. And you're like, okay, so are you losing yourself, or are you, what are your thoughts on that? Is that love bombing?
No.
Okay.
I think I've seen a couple of examples of this, and
Sure.
one of my friends comes to mind in particular because I felt like she became whoever her partner was. Like, even to the point where at one point she dated a guy who was Muslim, and she like literally started adopting the principles of Islam. Like, she would not eat pork, and I'm like, but
It's giving 90 Day.
I don't know. I mean, I was just like, I respect it. Like, fine, that's like a cultural thing that you want to, lean into because you think it's important for your relationship.
Sure.
But it always felt to me like, ma'am, you're not really doing this because it's coming from your genuine desire. It's like you think this is what you need to do to keep a man. And for me, that's very dangerous because that feels kind of codependent for me,
Hell
where
yeah.
it's just like you are so like you're basically losing who you are in the relationship because you just want to conform and
Like
you
a
want to mold
shapeshifter.
yourself
Right.
for whatever you think this person wants,
Like a chameleon, yeah.
to your detriment though. I think that's the key thing where it's like you are losing your power. There's not this like equality in the relationship anymore because you just feel some sort of responsibility or burden to
Right.
like be whoever they need you to be, but that person's not doing it in return.
Yeah, and also I think like I mean, I wanted to make sure that it wasn't just about bad things too, right? So I mean, it could be a good thing too. You could have like a friend that's like was kind of lazy or didn't really care about their health or something, and then they get with somebody that's like dragging them to the gym or inspired them or something. So those could be good things too. I mean, I just like I. I was just thinking about it. I just didn't know if it was, I know people change over time and we all change,
Yeah.
and we pick up certain characteristics of people that we like and stuff like that. And I was just wondering if getting into the same hobbies or, you're essentially changing who you are when you get with somebody new that's into different stuff too. So
Yeah.
I just didn't know if that was like some type of form of love bombing or something, because I don't know. I mean, it's like you're still core to who you are, but
Yeah.
if you never, went to church and all of a sudden you're going to church all the time. Not that it's a bad thing, but
Yeah.
it's just like,
Why are you doing it? I think
yeah,
that's the core question. Like,
yeah,
are you doing this because you feel like you have to keep this person? Or are you doing it because you have a genuine desire to incorporate whatever this is into your life or
Yeah.
get rid of it or change something?
yeah. I mean, because it's like like with the church thing or the gym thing or whatever, it could be something that you never were around or never really exposed to or whatever, and then you go to try it because you do like this person, love this person, and all of a sudden you're like, damn, I actually kind of like this. I'm gonna keep doing this.
Yeah, I think in that case, like, that's not a bad thing. I think in a healthy relationship, like, you're going to influence each other, hopefully in like mostly positive ways, right?
Right.
I think when things get dicey is like when somebody's asking you to do things that are not in your best interest in order to like keep them around.
Sure, yeah. I
Right.
mean, it's like, if there's some type of drug situation going on, right? Or over drinking or going out to certain spots or
Spending
hanging
too
out with
much
certain
money.
crowds, right?
Yeah.
Doing stuff like that. Yeah, that would, going on random shopping binges or something, because it is fun to do like stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
Like anything
once in a
that's like addicting, it's, hey, let's go to the casino. I've been to the casino maybe twice in my life.
I
Never
love
really.
the casino, but I just can't be there because I know I'm going to develop a full on fucking habit.
Yeah, I like being there because I'm super stimulated with all the lights and blah blah blah, right? But the $20 pools and stuff on the slots
Yeah.
are wild. I feel like I would be better off just going to blackjack because at least I feel like I control a little bit.
I pay
I mean,
I play the penny slots because for me I'm just like super entertained for hours and it's just like, okay, I lost $20. It's fine. But I think, when it becomes like compulsive, it's definitely a downward spiral. I'm curious why this topic has been on your mind. Are you seeing anyone in your vicinity that's kind of dealing with shape shifting?
a little bit, yeah. I've got my two friends, Ryan and Rich, and they both got into relationships about 3 months ago, and they both have moved pretty fast simultaneously, right? And it's just not that it's been a bad thing. It's actually been something that they needed, but it was just more of like, I'm just curious if they're doing it to like further the relationship or if they're doing it because they're genuinely interested in it. I mean, it seems like when they talk about the things that they're doing or they're getting into, the church or the country music or whatever, it seems like they're pretty into it.
Yeah.
I don't really see that they're fronting, and especially because it's just it's just them and I together, right? So there's no need to bullshit and
Yeah.
say it because the other, the girl's not there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just it's funny to see, but like in a cool way, right? To see that these dudes change a little bit. I've always been a fan of certain country music, not all of it. I like the old school country stuff, but and then I grew up in the church and stuff too. It's just funny to see these guys coming around and changing, but in a better way too.
Mm-hmm.
Like Rich is, he was saying that he's sober now. I mean, he used to drink a little excessively, but he works downtown. It's I think he's 27, 28, so it's that
Yeah.
that whole thing too. But he's still working downtown and he's sober. He's spending all his time with his girl and stuff. So it seems like the changes are good and they seem genuine. So
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that, and I was just I don't think that anything's really changed with us too much. I don't go out at all, really.
No,
And then
you've never been like the type or just like want to be out in the streets.
right. Yeah, and then like I don't even really drink that much anymore, mainly because I just don't like feel the need to. Like before there was an urge a little bit,
Yeah.
but still like to have a few beers every once in a while, but all in moderation, right?
Yeah. I think though that there is like this vacuum effect that happens in new relationships where like all the air is sucked out of the room and it's just like y'all are together 24/7 and like the world stops for a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I think that those changes or like just how or, ride or die they are about the person is kind of normal at this stage because it's so early, right? You're just like obsessed with each other in a way.
Right.
And so you're going to like be presenting your best foot forward. You're going to be the best version of yourself because you're still like quote unquote trying to impress this person.
Yeah, the wooing thing is still going on, right?
Yeah. So I think the real test of whether or not the changes that you want to make are genuine are like if you're going to continue that after the quote unquote honeymoon phase is over. After you've secured the relationship.
Right.
The bag.
You secured the bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, what? I guess time will tell.
Yeah.
I think that I know Rich and his girl. They've been together for like 3 months. I know that they've said I love you already, and then they're also seriously talking about moving in together.
See?
Like to the point where like he's already talked to his male roommate about like, hey, how would you feel like basically fishing, and his friend was like, yeah, that's fine. I've got another homie that can move in, so it's not a big deal. And then I guess the conversation's been had on her end as well too. So it seems the moving in thing is wildly fast.
Yeah.
And I did express my concern about that too. But everybody's situation is different, and you don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. You don't know what things are really like, and I don't know much about Rich's financial situation too much.
Yeah.
I don't really like to pocket watch or anything like that. So I think that maybe it's a mutual, they want to be around each other and they click very well, but also like, hey, we could kind of pull our money together and
Yeah.
I
think a lot of people are getting together like because of financial right now, especially because everything's so damn expensive.
right.
I've seen like the prices of housing and everything go up here in Florida like in the past 5 years since I moved out here. It's kind of insane.
It's insane.
Because I'm like I came out here to escape those crazy ass prices of living
then
up
they
in the
just followed
Northeast,
you.
and they just followed me
I
here.
blame you.
So I think there are definitely people who are pairing up for economic reasons, and I also think that there's people who are not breaking up because of economic reasons.
Yeah, we have talked about this.
You know, so I don't know if it's necessarily like the healthiest environment for people to be like making those life changing decisions, because I think a lot of people's pockets are hurting, and to ignore that fact that like a lot of people are probably making decisions about whether to live together or to break up based on money, like that it would be ignorant to think that that's not actually factoring in for a lot of folks.
Yeah, I mean, so Ryan, I know they both have the same sounding name, and my name is Ray. I don't know how it worked out that way, but Ryan, the other friend, he has been in a relationship about the same amount of time, and maybe a little bit longer. And he's got his own place. He doesn't have a roommate, and he doesn't make a whole lot of money, so he's kind of strapped a little bit. And it would make sense for for his girl to move in with him, but. And I was talking with him pretty in depth about this the other night when I was at his house. And because he was like, yeah, we even talked about moving in together. And I'm like, well, what are the reasons for that? And then the first thing he jumped into was like, that she has her bills and he has his bills. And so I broke everything down with him. I'm like, how much are you making, your take home every month? And then, what's your bills this, what's your bill that, boom. And I was like, every bill you have, we're just going to duplicate for her. And the real big thing that they were going to be saving on was like the rent. I think like the positive, they were going to be almost $900
Wow.
for the month to
Yeah.
be in the positive. And then from being close to breaking even or in the negative a little bit every month to going to a surplus of like $800 or $900, even though it's split, it's still one of those things where it's like, not only do I feel like I love this person, but fuck, if we look at the numbers, shit,
Yeah.
like we might as well do that.
Yeah.
If you're already like spending all your time at my house, she spends a lot of time at his house. So I'm like, might as well. I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, it's tough. At least
It is
by the end of
tough.
the year, maybe, start the new year. Because you have
Yeah.
like, what, another 2.5 months?
Yeah.
I'd say, like, if you guys can wait, I mean, try to make it to the New Year's and just plan on the New Year. Like, hey, if we're still together,
Yeah.
let's start 2024 living together. I think that would be a move. Your thoughts? What are your thoughts?
I will never want that to be like the primary reason why people move in together, because there's just so much other shit that plays into like, is this a good decision? Like,
Yeah.
do y'all actually know what it's like to be around each other for extended periods of time, and not just like in the lovey-dovey phase, but like when y'all get into arguments, like who walks out, who starts yelling? You got to know that stuff, and I just don't
Yeah.
know like if in that short amount of time you even know how to, like, what to expect when it comes to conflict.
Right.
What are those difficult conversations going to be? Like, what are the person's habits? Are they
Yeah.
clean? Are they fucking slob? Like,
Yeah.
there's just so much stuff that I'm like, the money can't be the only reason, because if you then now are in a situation where you literally cannot afford to leave,
Right.
that shit's crazy.
Yeah, that's that's a situation we've all been into.
Yeah.
Especially, my friends and I, like, none of us have like degrees where we're, making $100,000 a year. So, it's, it's just everything's got to be pretty
Yeah.
much money related. And,
Yeah.
and then, to be, fortunately, I mean, I guess it's easier for a man, and it might be fucked up, but I guess it feels like it is to be able to get a little bit of a higher paying job without.
Oh, no, that's facts.
Without like
the
any
data's
real
there.
skill set, I mean, these dudes are in their mid to late 20s and athletic and stuff. I mean, if they needed to become an arborist and cut trees for a living, they could do it,
Yeah.
So at least they could make it on their own. But, the chicks that they're bringing with them they're a little bit younger than they are by a couple of years. So they're still figuring it out. Ryan's girl wants to go to some type of nursing school, and, I don't even know what Rich's girl wants to do, but it's just, and then, kids are going to come into the picture too.
Yeah.
I mean, we know how this works. So, at some point, a kid will pop up
Yeah.
on one side, and usually that happens once you guys are living together. I'm not going to lie. It's just one of
You
those
know
things.
what?
I've seen it happen so much. Like
Yeah.
6 months after moving in together, boom,
You don't
baby
need
bump.
that stress, though. You really don't.
Yeah,
This is why I like we talked about this in a previous episode where you were listening to a podcast and the guy said, like, don't seriously date until you're after 30.
Yeah.
And it's just like, when you think about like how many formative decisions we have to make in our 20s, like
20s
what the
is
hell your
crazy.
career is going to be, where you're going to live, like you need a decade to
You
figure
need
out
that.
who the hell you are, like to become a fully functional adult.
You need that. Yeah.
And I think, especially for women, like there's so much pressure to just like do all the things. Like you
Sure.
gotta have all the shit figured out by the time you're 30. And I think back to just like, I never actually lived alone before moving in with my ex-husband.
Right.
Like I moved from my parents' house into an apartment that we shared. And that, I think back, like that was my biggest regret, because I'm like, I didn't even know what it was to like be responsible for myself and
Have
live on
your
my own
spot. Yeah.
until 37
Right.
when I got divorced. And I'm like, why the fuck did I not do this
And like
before?
all this like open space too.
Yeah,
like,
and
it's
just
crazy.
like knowing that like you got your own back.
Sure.
Like I think everybody needs to know that I got me
Yeah.
before you go and incorporate somebody else into your life.
Right.
And if you're just hopping from parents' house to relationship and you're living together and you never like have that alone time, like let me go through the struggle. Let me figure out like what the fuck I want. What do I value as a person? Like I don't know. I think people just like rush it too much because of whatever reason.
Yeah, it's true. You know, I mean, I think everyone deserves to have their own like apartment
Yeah.
for at least a year. I think,
I guess maybe I had a little bit because in college, like I was living alone, quote unquote, but it was with roommates. So it wasn't really alone either.
sure.
And I wasn't actually paying for shit. My student loans and like scholarships were paying for it. So I didn't have the experience of like, what is it like to be fully financially responsible for myself?
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, I remember when I got my first one bedroom apartment. It wasn't until I was 27. You know, after like the business and everything, and then I get this one bedroom apartment, you know, by myself, like no dog or anything, and it was just like. I mean, it was a good feeling.
Yeah.
It was really nice. I was like, okay, well, this is cool. At least I can check that off the list that I, you know, had my own lease and like I did my own shit. So I think everybody deserves to have that. You know,
Yeah.
Ryan, he just got his first apartment by himself. He's been in there for a few months. It's going good. He's got his furniture and stuff. You know, a little bachelor. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
But
He's ready to give that up so quickly.
well, you know,
For love.
yeah, you know, I mean, when love hits, it hits hard, right?
It does. You know, but I think it also can come off kind of like desperate, like when you just want to rush things so much.
I think some people just crave being in a relationship so bad. Like,
But that's fine. But you just don't need to like put everything on accelerated timeline because it feels almost like I need to do this to make the relationship like work or because that's her expectation or maybe it's just his desire. But I just don't, you know, if like you're about each other and you're like down for the cause, I just don't know if you need to rush things, you know?
yeah, with Ryan, I've noticed the past couple girls that he's, you know, hung out with or whatever, he's been fiending for a relationship.
Like, does he want to get married though? Is he like
I don't know. I don't
ready
know
to
if
find his long-term partner?
I don't know if that's his thing. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, he's been doing the church thing and stuff pretty heavy as well too. So I don't know. He hasn't really expressed any husband talk to me, but you know, he definitely would like, you know, he definitely would like kids and definitely wants a family. So I think that like now, I mean, I just like I said, he has been fiending for a relationship. You know, he wants that. You know, and you know he'll be faithful and all that stuff too. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, he is one of those guys that could be getting engaged in like 6 months. You know, but at the end of the day, it could work out and could have you know family with this woman, and you know they have a couple of kids, and 5 years from now he's got two little ones running around. They're married and you know about to buy their first house or something. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, at the end of the day, it all comes down to like, are you actually doing this stuff because you want to do it? Or are you doing it because you feel like there's some sort of obligation to keep the person, right? Because if you're not doing it because you generally want to do it, then it's not going to be viable, like long term.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah. Sometimes, I mean, like I said, you become so many different versions of yourself throughout like life in general. So, and then to be able to or to have you know kids and bring that along with it as well too. I think that if someone's going to pick somebody for their lifelong journey, I think that they need to have like a mutual understanding that we are going to change over time,
Yes.
but like let's try to continue to like re-fall in love with each other as it goes, you know, because
that.
you're going to be in a new shit. I'm going to be in a new shit, and
Yeah.
you know things are going to come and go. But
Yeah, I think it's really kind of silly to think that you're not going to become different versions of yourself, you know, in a relationship. And I love that sentiment of just like you're committing to loving every version of the person and like not trying to control also like what that version of that person turns into.
right.
Because I think in the past I've kind of projected like visions of what I thought somebody should be and kind of like put pressure on them to like be that version. And I'm just kind of like, if you don't want to be that version of who I need you to be, then like this is just not compatible.
Right.
And you can't want something for somebody that they don't want for themselves.
Yeah.
Like you can express to somebody, hey, this is a problem. If we're going to work,
Yeah.
I need you to address it.
Yeah.
And then it's up to them
Right.
Like, are you going to do it because you generally want to do it? Or you're just like, nah, it's not fucking worth it. Like, I'm just going to go find somebody who's going to deal with whatever shit this person doesn't want to deal with.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, it is a conversation that I think most people run into, because as time goes on, I mean, there's going to be something at some point.
Yeah, there's always going to be something.
With everybody. So, I guess it all comes down to compromise and,
how much you love each
accountability
other too.
too, so that is a thing. It is a huge thing. So we are going to be going to NOLA.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And what's the deal with this?
So I am going to be speaking at FinCon, which is I think it's the biggest like financial conference for like influencers. So these are people who are bloggers, podcasters, content creators of all different genres in the money space. And so it was my first time attending as an attendee last year. And I got an email this summer that they wanted me to come and talk on their Big Ideas stage, which is like basically their TED Talk version of, what they do. And
this is going to be crazy, folks. I don't think I think you guys understand, but this is crazy.
I'm so fucking nervous because, I mean, this is definitely going to be like with the biggest audience I speak in front of. And these are all like my peers in the personal finance space. So it's kind of like, going to the high school reunion after...
It's just
10 years.
It's complete and utter judgment. Okay, you're literally going up there to be judged on everything you say about everything.
I'm like, so I got 15 minutes to go leave an impression on people. I'm going to be talking about how to grow your community as a creator. So hopefully dropping some gems. And I know they'll be sending me the footage of the talk, so maybe we can share that with you guys on YouTube.
Yeah, I think everybody needs to see that. I mean, especially the YQD group. They need to see that.
I'm so nervous.
It's gonna be fun.
I'm just so glad you're coming with me though, because like moral support, I am gonna literally be like heaving from anxiety until I get on the stage, and then like I just black out and I say some shit. I have no idea what I said, and then I come off the stage.
Autopilot.
So, yeah,
I'm gonna get a vest that says emotional support animal. Please do not pet. And I'm just gonna have that on.
Please do. That's so good. It's so good.
That's what I'll dress up for Halloween.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. That's your first business trip?
To be like with you and on like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get to go to the convention.
Yeah. Oh man.
So this will be the
exciting.
first like thing to see you in action, other than like watching you do podcasts and stuff.
Yeah, and we're gonna obviously shoot some vlog content too. Because
that's gonna be fun. I always
New
like
Orleans
to do
is
the
a cool
vlogs.
place.
Yeah, the vlogs are good. I know you guys like those as well too. So
yeah.
I definitely am excited to see what they have down there for some food, because I'm a big seafood guy, big food guy in general.
Good.
So
yeah,
I'm excited to see what they've got going on down there.
It's gonna be fun.
Now, did you have anything specific that you wanted to talk about on this thing? Did you have anything going on with any friends or any stories or anything that you wanted to bring up at all?
No, so I actually do want to let you guys know we do have some guests booked for upcoming episodes on the show. We're actually going to start having some couples on the show,
which is going to be sick.
We're going to have my friend Karina and her husband. Karina is an amazing relationship coach that helps people get back to themselves, because what happens a lot of times is like what we were talking about. You kind of lose yourself in a relationship. You start putting all of your hopes and dreams and all that shit on your partner. Like you want them to keep you happy. You want them to fulfill all your needs. And she's really like into the realm of teaching you how to get back to yourself so you can be the best version of yourself. And as a result, be the best version of yourself in relationship. So she's going to talk to us about her journey. I know one fun fact that is going to blow people's minds is that her and her husband got married like 4 months after they got together.
Wow.
So we're going to ask all the questions about like I think they're on year like 11 or 12 at this point of their marriage.
This is crazy.
A lot of shit.
That's awesome.
They've been dealing with like the step parent dynamic, coming from divorce and how to have a healthy relationship after you. Like there's so much stuff. So I'm super excited about them to be on the show.
Yeah, I can't wait to meet them as well, because that sounds crazy, because I've
Yeah.
always had that number one rule of like I'm never going to be a step parent, so that's like wild to see.
And
so.
she felt like that too, so it's going to be interesting to hear kind of how that shift happened. And then my friend Erica and her husband Hamish, who are located in Australia, are also going to be joining us on the show. And Erica is a confidence coach that helps women get back to being the baddest version of themselves.
Hell yeah.
And her husband is actually a shaman and like a shamanic healer and all this type of stuff. And so they work together in business. So I'm really excited to ask them about like what it's like to build a business like while you're also in the relationship.
Hell yeah.
And that's going to be so much
Shaman,
fun.
like ayahuasca
Yeah,
shaman?
yeah, like plant medicine, like all that stuff. So
Oh shit.
yeah. So
Okay.
that's going to be awesome. So we are bringing on awesome guests for this show. And yeah, I'm really excited.
That's all her, folks. Just gonna give her credit right here. Okay, this is all
We'll be
Janese's.
linking us up with a lot of interesting people.
Yeah, I mean it's great because she's like on the woman's side, so there's a lot more stories and um, topics and stuff when it comes to the women's side because just juicy gossip tea talk.
Yeah, and I love the fact that we're going to get to talk to the partners of these women because the women are my friends, and I know their partners like just kind of by face on social media and
Right,
whatnot.
right.
But just hearing the men's side of the story is going to be cool too.
Yeah, it was crazy. The other night we were at the salsa festival thing in downtown Clearwater, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had some lady that recognized you from.
Yeah, my sorority sister was there.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. I was like, who's this random?
I do get spotted, y'all. It's happened to me at least like 6 or 7 times at this point. So pretty much I'm gonna have to hire security at this point.
Yeah, you be careful. If you see me with the crossbody bag, just be careful.
You
It's
know.
all right. Yeah, it's all right. All right, cool. So now I want to move into our favorite segment.
Am I the asshole Reddit thread?
You got it.
Oh
girl.
God.
You got it.
All right, let's go.
Now this one, folks, I know that we usually read them to each other on live here on the show, but I actually let Jannese. I read this one to her before. So since this one is coming from a female's perspective, I'm gonna have Jannese read it for you guys.
Okay.
This one is I'm gonna put it on the screen right here as usual and try to read along. I think I skipped a paragraph, so when it switches from the first one to the second one, you just have to kind of skip through.
Okay, no problem. All right, so am I the asshole for refusing to take a pregnancy test my boyfriend bought? Jesus, okay.
Let's go, folks.
I am a 26-year-old female. I was lying in my bed last night around 7 p.m. eating popcorn and cranberry cookies while watching a movie. Thank you for the context.
Yeah.
My boyfriend, 28, who doesn't live with me but has a key, came over after work. He recently got a new job and has been working nonstop for the past 4 months to save for a new car. Double shifts, overtime, working 7 days a week, blah, blah. So, as a result, I only saw him approximately 3 times in the past 4 months.
That's tough.
And each time we didn't do anything because he was super tired, aka they didn't have sex. That's fucking sad.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, he came over last night to see me and berated me for eating cookies on my bed, saying that I'm messy, so I leave crumbs for the ants to bite him while he sleeps. I responded by staring blankly at him for a couple seconds, and then he said, "Oh, that's right, I forgot you're on your period." She says, "What? I'm not on my period." He looks confused and pulled out his phone. He said, according to his period tracker, which, mind you, she did not know he had.
Damn. I don't even know what I would do if one of my friends said that they were doing that.
I literally cannot.
Fucking red flag, dude.
All right, let's keep going. I was supposed to have my period since the 13th, and by me not being on my period, it means I'm really late. I love that he's tracking this, and she's not. That's wild.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, maybe you're just having fun with other people while I've been working hard for us." At this point, I'm offended and upset. He then demands that I take a pregnancy test. I told him, I don't just have pregnancy tests lying around. Facts. What the fuck? He said, okay, and left. I tried calling him, no answer. He comes back 10 minutes later from the pharmacy with a pregnancy test.
This guy.
I am appalled. My jaw is still on the floor. I told him I'm not pregnant because I haven't done anything to get pregnant and I'm not taking a pregnancy test. And if he doesn't trust me when I've done nothing wrong, then he needs to figure out why. He said, if I can't take a pregnancy test, that just proves that I have something to hide. I asked him politely to leave, and he did. First of all, you're not getting polite for that conversation.
Oh, man. I knew she was going to get triggered. So.
I thought that was the end of it, but this morning I woke up to a bunch of messages from him, his best friend, and his sister all calling me horrible names for, quote, cheating on him. In one of the messages, he called me an asshole for not taking the test to please his mind. Wow.
Is she the asshole?
No, he's the asshole. Like, what the hell? First of all, why is he tracking her period?
Yeah, that's suspect.
Fucking cringy.
It maybe somebody, like maybe his sister told him to do that, like because he's not seeing her that much or something. And
oh my God.
maybe she's like, I've never heard of anybody trying to catch somebody cheating by you, or I don't even know. I guess I don't know what the point would be of him knowing the period tracker. Maybe they're not using protection and he's just trying to be careful.
But she should be the one tracking that shit. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, I don't know.
What the fuck? Like, there's just so many red flags
When
here.
you set up the app, is it like is it everything like all pink and it's like super feminine and shit?
I haven't used one in a very long time, but yeah, I mean, like,
It feels like it's just for women, right? I
it
don't
definitely
know.
is. And like, he has to really know the intimate details of like her cycle to even get accurate reading on that, because you
Oh,
need
there's
to
like
say
special
like
questions
when
and
you
stuff?
start, you know, how heavy is it, like how long is it, and it was like, what are
Oh.
you fucking like going in the bathroom and like seeing what absorbency tampon she's using today? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I didn't know it was that in depth. I
Yeah.
figured it was just like, hey, I started my period on the 19th, and then it just goes from there.
You
I
have
didn't
to
know.
let it know how long your cycle is in order for it to start them
Oh,
predicting.
because it can change.
Yeah. So
Oh,
I'm
got
just
it.
like, what
Okay.
the fuck?
Yeah, it's suspect. I don't know. Anytime I hear these things, like, I think about, hearing one of my guy friends tell me about like whatever if they're, the ones that are in there, and I'm thinking like hearing one of my guy friends say that like, dude, I've been using this fucking period tracker but she's not on her period when it says she should be, and I'd be like, bro, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, I'm like, you're
What
doing the
fuck?
most. And also, can we get back to the fact that she's seen him 3 times in 4 months?
Yeah.
You don't have a boyfriend, sis.
And he's not smashing when he's seeing her either. Not that that's all it has to be about, but come on, check in.
Yeah, I'm
You gotta
sorry.
check in.
There's something else going on. He got a work wife. He got some bullshit going on, because I just can't. That level of, or that lack of consistency, and just like, it feels very low effort. And I feel like he's actually projecting probably some bullshit that he's doing,
Yeah.
because he's just way too like quick to be throwing those accusations around.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah.
Like, you're not a fucking OBGYN that you are qualified to like be assessing if her body is doing what it's supposed to do. You have no idea if this woman has health issues that make her have an irregular period.
Right.
You don't know if she's on birth control that literally stops your fucking period in general, so she's not even going to get one.
Yeah, I'm really feeling like someone told him to do that, or he heard of somebody doing that, because I just don't. It's not something that
It's not normal.
Yeah, as a man, like I just would never think about doing that unless like I'm out here trying to get my girl pregnant,
Right.
like on purpose, kind of thing. Like,
And clearly they're not, because they're not even having sex. So what is happening?
it's giving Jovi from fucking. It's giving Jovi vibes. This guy.
The 90-day last resort. Well, he was so pissed off that Yara said that she was taking birth control without his knowledge, but also he just was not trying to hear the fact that like she did not want to have a kid because the man is gone for 30 days at a time,
Yeah.
and she's basically like a single mom half of the fucking year.
Yeah, and she's out of her home country, away from her
Right.
own mom and stuff too.
And her mom, I mean, his mom and her have like a weird dynamic too. So it's not like she's gonna be like hanging out with Mama Dukes all the time.
Right.
Jeez.
Yes. Anyway, sorry, that was a little tangent on the Jovi from 90
Y'all
Day.
need to watch.
If you know, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, if you know, you know. So, I don't think she's the asshole. I was reading the comments in there, and I told you earlier, but one of the comments said you need to move out and you need to get the key.
That's right.
You need to get the key back before, or you don't need to move out. You need to break
Change
up.
the locks.
You need to break up with him, and you need to get your key back before you do, because
Yeah.
it's weird that he's got the. I mean, it's not weird that he has the key, but now when you break up, it is a weird dynamic.
She got to change locks. That's what I did.
I
Shit.
know that some apartment complexes and stuff like that, you pay like the $100 or whatever, they'll change the locks for you. They don't really care
Yeah.
because they have to have a key anyways.
And he's probably not on the lease because he's not even like there like that.
Yeah,
So,
he's got his own place, right?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. So I was going through. There was a bunch of them on there. That one kind of stuck out to me just because once I saw the pregnancy test thing, and then I saw that he had the app, I was like, okay, well, this
He's
is
cheating.
super fucking weird.
I'm sorry. He's cheating. He got a whole ass situation going on because I don't know what normal person like sees their partner once every like month and a half, unless you're like deployed to the military or you are working in offshore drilling or you are like a traveling consultant or something.
Yeah, but if you're 30 minutes or an hour away,
Yeah, bro. I'm tired, so we're not going to see each other. Like, get the fuck out of here.
well, I mean, and there's gonna have to be a day off. But if you're working that much overtime and stuff like that, like you said, there's a work-life situation.
Yeah.
Someone's giving him a hug and a kiss on break. You know,
Yeah.
that's just how it goes. I've seen it too many times. It's just a sad thing. So, anyways, Anything else other than New Orleans coming up? I know we talked about going to possibly New Jersey for Thanksgiving, right? Is this
Yes,
something
you're
you talked to your family
coming.
about yet, or is this their
They
first time doing it?
know.
Okay, all
The
right.
family knows you're coming for Thanksgiving.
Folks, it's like every rom com Christmas movie ever. I'm going up north. I gotta buy a jacket. It's been a while since I've seen snow,
Yeah,
but
I'm
I'm
going to
gonna.
your mom's wedding. Like, there's a lot of family time that's going to be coming up now with the holiday season. And I think that's something that we're going to have to talk about on the show coming up is how to deal with each other's families. Like, the family dynamic can have a huge impact on your relationship.
Right.
And, like, what do you do if your families don't necessarily get along? Like, does that mean you should be breaking up or
Yeah.
how do you handle it?
I mean, I've been in a situation like that before too, where like at first, I liked the family, and then after a while, the family like started to show its colors with like just its own interdimensional shit. Had nothing to do with me,
Yeah.
but over time, you just get turned off, and I'm like, wow, I just don't really want to be associated with a
Yep.
family like that,
Yep.
and then you don't. Then you're embarrassed to bring them around your family,
Yep.
and it's like a fuck,
That's going to be a whole. I think
It's
we're
like-
going to need like a marriage and family therapist to
Right.
navigate that conversation. So I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to that.
that'll be fun. That'll
Yeah.
be a good ass time.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, all right, well, great. So by the time we do when we do next week's episode, we'll be back from New Orleans. So
Yep.
we'll give a little recap on that. Maybe show a couple of clips or something. I guess I'll do a vlog of the trip as well too.
Yeah.
She's gonna go out there tomorrow, and then I'm going out there on Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll be coming back on Monday.
Yeah.
Got
Super
it.
exciting.
Hell yeah, super stoked. All right, folks. Well, listen, thank you so much. Don't forget to head over to BetterHelp. I got to throw that on the screen, right? So betterhelp.com/Corazon.
Yep.
Get your 10% off. That's what it is, right?
Absolutely.
Get your 10% off. Go check them out. We talk about it literally every week, but the therapist thing is a huge help for everybody for any type of situation.
Absolutely.
So head over there, check that out. Smash the subscribe button, like button, follow us on everything. DM us if you have a crazy story or something you want us to talk about. And on that note, we will see you next week.
Adios.